Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.
The neat thing about charging at a Tesla charging station is you never know what you might run into, and we've gotten some good entertainment here at this charging station, so we're going to have a little bit of entertainment here.
That's so funny.
And introduce yourself. What's your name?
Yes, sir. I'm Devontae King. I'm from a small town called Glenville, Georgia. So Tattnall County is the county of it. So it's about 45 minutes from here in Metter.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you raised in South Georgia?
Yes, sir. Yeah, born and raised in South Georgia all my life. I think my family. So like I said, they all from Glenville. So I grew up kind of crazy. Like I grew up in church, and so we didn't really I never really started like singing like out in public until probably like a couple years ago. But I always grew up like singing just because like my family were in the church. I was like in the choir, and so I always like fell in love with it. But yeah, I've just been in Glenville my entire life. My family, they did like funeral homes and stuff, so that's what they own. So I kind of grew up in that business as well. And then singing is just like something I always like love doing and enjoy doing. So I just do it whenever I can.
Okay, well, let's hear a song here. Okay?
Yes, sir, I got you. Let's play. We'll play a little something. Let's see. A little Darius record. Let's see what we can do. So heading down south to the land of the pine, I'm on my way to North Carolina. Staring up the road, pray to God I see headlines. Headed down the coast in 17 hours, picking me bouquet and dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. So rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking to the south down the road, no, I caught a truck, I had a feel he had a nice long tow. He's heading west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee, and I gotta move on before the sun. I hear my baby call her name, and I know that she's the only one. So if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Hey, mama, rock me. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Of course, I appreciate you guys.
Entertainment.
Yes.
We're here at First Baptist Church Monroe for the annual yard sale, which is the first Saturday in May. And we showed you some pictures of the day today. This is actually Saturday. There's still a lot of stuff left, but this has been going on for 3 days now, and a lot of stuff here.
Teresa, look at the camera. Hello, people. Missing your debut. Oh. Yeah. Didn't mean to run you off. Look
like we're not busy. You know, he comes and films it when we've done all the work.
Yeah.
It must be there.
Yes, ma'am. All right, enjoy. Yes, that's why I wore a jacket, because I knew, you know, there were 3 days
Hey, we're down here at First Baptist Church, and we're here for the Monroe Missions Yard Sale. It's for Royce McNeil. It's in memory of Royce McNeil, who ran this for years and years. And this year we are going to the Arkansas to the Zoo Church. But what do we do every year here?
We have fun. We
have
sell
a-
great stuff. Come join us. We've got everything you can think of. We'll give you a bag. Fill it up.
Yep.
And it's the
be-
first Saturday.
First Saturday
of
in May, every year.
So put it on your calendar for next year. We've already sold a ton of stuff, but he's going to pan around in a minute. We have so much stuff, it's unbelievable. But we will be here until at least 12 o'clock today. And probably around 11:30, you can come fill up a bag. So
For a great deal.
come on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I call them the peace out generation. Which, by the way, my college freshmen told me, they're like, Dr. Furman, that's like so not cool anymore. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like drop the mic? Like what? And they're like, just don't do anything. Like just say peace out. I like doing that. They're the peace out generation, because if they're not happy, they're out. If they're not happy at work, they're quitting, and they don't even give you 2 weeks notice. If they don't like you, they're breaking up with you, and they don't even tell you. Because what's that called, y'all? Ghosting. They're going to totally ghost you. Gen X isn't happy. They go home, they bitch about it. They write like 6 resignation letters to themselves. They get up the next morning, put their pants back on, and like they go to work, right? Not them. They're not happy. They're out. And that is why a lot of them are resigning during this great resignation. Because if they don't feel like you care about them, they're out. And this is where the big disconnect is. The way that they want to be cared about is different than how you think they want to be cared about. Okay? So let's take a look at them here real quick. Let's talk about what they lived through growing up so you understand their lens. My yellows, how old were you when 9/11 happened? Whoever said 18, you're probably more of a cusper, and you're demonstrating more Gen X tendencies. The rest of you who are like 15 and younger, so I heard 7, 8, 11, okay? How old were you when Columbine happened? That was 98. 8, 6, okay? I have my cusper over here. What were you told was going to happen on December 31st, 1999? Okay, so I want you all to think about this. This generation, as young children, had a terrorist attack on U.S. soil that we were told was never going to happen again since Pearl Harbor. They suddenly had these mass school shootings. You were told that the end of the world was going to happen on New Year's Eve. You had Al Gore telling you that the hole in the ozone layer was so big that you were going to have to wear sunblock and sunglasses every single time you went outside. You saw your parents who were solely committed and loyal to that one organization. They let them go. They lost their job, they lost their pension, and they're having to work longer. I want you all to think about this. And so their boomer parents became helicopter parents, and they hovered because life was scary. Can you blame them? Look what they lived through as children. They were old enough to know that scary things were going on, but they weren't emotionally mature enough to process it. And because of that, they are not aspiring for career success. They're not aspiring for job security. Oh, heck no. They aspire for freedom and flexibility because they're living for today because they don't know where tomorrow is going to look like. And that's where you have the big clash between Gen X and millennials, okay? So their communication preference is text or social media. I thought they were going to grow more thumbs because they text away. And their decision-making authority is they want decision-making input. That was important to them. So all of us are in these meetings, and they're standing outside the door going, ooh, can I get in that meeting? And we're all like, really? And they're like, well, yeah, because I can make better decisions than all of you in that room. And it's because growing up, they were given decision-making authority. K through 12 gave them options. Do you want this or do you want this? I even think about vacations, okay? My mom said to me, get your ass in the back of the station wagon. Do y'all remember station wagons riding backwards? I was like car sick all the time. And we get in the car and she says, we're going on vacation. So I'm like, okay, Ma, where are we going on vacation? And she's like, we'll figure it out when you get there. And we go like 2 towns over. And I'm like, Ma, I thought we were on vacation. And she says, we're not home, are we? If we're not home, we're on vacation. Fast forward, boomers texting their kids, family meeting, 6 o'clock dining room. So y'all get together. Yeah, how many of you have family meetings? Yeah, you know you have them. And they're like, honey, where would you like to go on vacation this year? Should we go to the beach? Should we go to Disney World? Or I even think about breakfast, y'all. So my mom said to me on her way out to work, there's cereal in the cupboard, help yourself, where the millennials are coming into the kitchen and mom and dad are like, honey, what would you like for breakfast? And I saw it. I saw it with my sister, who's a millennial. They're like, would you like cereal or toast or pancakes? And I'm like, pancakes? I had pancakes on Christmas morning, if I was lucky, right? So they had choices. So now they're showing up to your workplaces wanting choices, and you want to know what Gen X is doing to them? Y'all ready? Y'all familiar with the Heisman? They're like, eh. And they're like, oh, but I have this really good idea. Eh. Well, why can't we do this? Eh. And they're like, eh. How many letters do you have after your name? Eh. How long have you been with this organization? Eh. What's your student loan debt ratio that I'm still paying off, right? And when Gen X does this, they do this. And that's why when organizations hire me and give me this money and say, come in and fix our damn millennials, I say to them, you know what? Okay, I'm going to come, but I end up spending all of the time working with my Gen X managers. Okay? They are 36% of the workforce, and they're growing exponentially. By 2025, they will be 75% of the global workforce. So you need to get on board or you need to jump ship. Because if you don't, you're going to either sink your ship or they're going to walk you off the plank. Because they are massive disruptors. That's an academic term. They're changing how everything is done. Why do we have a 5-day work week? Why do we work 40 hours a week? Why are there banker hours? Why do I have to dress professionally? Why? And if because you say, because I said so, or that's the way we've always done it, they're out. They're massive disruptors, and you got to be worried about that piece out. Okay? So let's quickly go through Gen Z. I call them the meh generation, M-E-H-H. They're really not fazed by anything. They grew up during the Great Recession, like, meh, what's the big deal? They only know a world with terrorism in it, like, meh, what's the big deal? Like, blow yourself up, like, clean it up, like, come on, let's keep going. Like, same-sex marriage, what's the big deal? Why do people care, right? They've seen a black president. They've now seen a woman vice president. They only know a world with social media. But here's what's significant. This is going to be the first generation where the Caucasian generation becomes the minority population in America. And they are so dialed into security and stability, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you are not being inclusive and seeing people as individuals, they're going to call you out on it, and they're not afraid to do it, okay? Their communication preference, virtual, because they keep reinventing it. They're not texting. What are they doing? It's all videos, yeah. And they yearn for face-to-face attention. Any guesses as to why they yearn for face-to-face attention? Because their Gen X parents are such workaholics, they've neglected them of that face-to-face attention. So you go home and you all think about that tonight, okay? We don't know what their decision-making method is because their Gen X parents are like, I'm the parent, you're the child, you're not making decisions. And we don't know what percentage of the workforce they are because they're just now entering the workforce, which the worst mistake you can make is calling a Gen Z or a millennial, because number one, millennials hate being called millennials. So right now, everybody needs to take that M word out of their vocabulary. It doesn't exist. They hate it, and Gen Z hates it even more. The millennials are 25 to 40-ish, which makes me a little uncomfortable because it's really hard to compare a 28-year-old and a 38-year-old, okay? Here, 24 to 12 are your Gen Zs, and they're very different than millennials. All right, let's move on. What you have to be worried about is they are clashing with Gen Y, the millennials, pretty dramatically because they show up to work on time, they shake hands, they make eye contact, they're dressed professionally. They have a formal signature on their email. Like they email me, Dr. Furman, I apologize for not coming to class next week. I apologize for the inconvenience. And I'm like, you're not inconveniencing me, but okay. But I've already met with my classmates. I'm going to make up what I missed, sincerely, signature. These are my millennials, texted me in the middle of the night. Yo, Mel. When's our next exam? And I'm like, yesterday. Oh, can I make it up? No. Can I get extra credit? No. Next thing I know, mom and dad's calling me. Johnny missed his exam. No, I know. Can he make it up? No. Can he get extra credit? No. Well, I'm calling the dean. I am the dean. Like, no. So very, very different. Okay, so let's keep moving. What we're worried about with this generation is that they are forced to behave like adults as children. Gen Z, we have them doing budgeting in middle school. We have them picking careers in middle school. Picking a career is a very adult decision. So we are expecting them to behave like adults as children, not healthy, by the way. And we're curious that when they actually get out into the workforce, can they really do this thing called adulting? I don't have time to give examples and go into it, but if you want to know more, you can reach out to me and I can give you some more information about that. Okay, so many of your Gen Xers are experiencing burnout, and they are very comfortable with doing things their way. So if, my young folks, you show up and you get this in your face, don't just turn around and quit and peace out. Be patient, build a relationship with them, because they can answer your why. They just don't have time. I don't have time to explain to them why we do what we do. So find when they have more time and they can explain it to you. Okay? Do you all know what this is? That's a high-end typewriter. Boomers may be feeling a little obsolete, and they're not going anywhere. So reinvent them. Give them opportunities to reinvent and recharge them. And they are awesome mentors for your millennials. They gave birth to them, okay? And so don't just write them off and wait, count the days till they retire. Use them. They have so much expertise to provide you. Don't think that the millennials are trophy kids. I hate when I hear that, because here's what I'm going to say to you. Who is giving them the trophies? Were they giving themselves the trophies? No, their parents were. And here, at the end of the day, everybody wants a trophy. Everybody wants to be rewarded across all generations. Everybody wants feedback. And so how many of you have performance reviews? How often are they? Quarterly? Yes. They're not performance, they're coaching. You're awesome. He's on it. Y'all need to listen to him. So most people have an annual performance review. That is so dated and obsolete and not engaging your young professionals. Right now, they put something on social media and they instantly get 1,000 pieces of feedback. But yet when they show up in your workplaces, they only get it once a year, and most of the time you rush through it. Where here, this gentleman said they have quarterly coaching reviews, and that is great, because you're not necessarily reviewing their performance, you're having a conversation with them and helping them grow and develop. But here's what I'm gonna tell you, my young folks. If you're not getting the feedback that you need and want, ask for it, okay? Go to the next one. The younger generations want to make a difference, so think about your impact and bring that impact into focus. Every single one of your organizations, you should be able to drill down to your impact. The youngest generation of Gen Z cares a whole lot about your corporate values or your social responsibility. So if you cannot clearly articulate and demonstrate that you're living the values of your organization, they may not want to come work for you, okay? The younger generations like everything personalized, so my millennials, hold up your phones. I know you have them out within arm's reach. Everybody kind of look around at the phones at your table. Okay, Gen X, hold up your phone and or phones. All right, so what you may notice is the younger folks, all of their phone cases are personalized. Like it's sparkles, it's football, it's something personalized. And then you see Gen X and it's like black, white, whatever came free with the case. And if it's something fancy, it's because your kids or grandkids bought it for you and you felt bad, so you put it on, right? So to this point, the gentleman made up front is the one-size-fits-all consistency that HR loves to preach to y'all. That's obsolete, sorry, HR. It's dated. You now have to think about all of your employees as individuals and get to know them individually, and you need to coach them. And you're not going to coach your quarterback the same way you're going to coach your offensive lineman. Okay? Answer their why, and if it's because I said so or that's the way we've always done it, you need to rethink. The young people expect and demand innovation. So if your organizations are not demonstrating eating, living, breathing innovation, they're out. Okay, so I'm going to close here, and y'all, here's what's super cool. I can do this in 3 minutes or less because it's not rocket science. It's really very, very simple, which I already said. The first thing you need to do is you need to care. And Gen X is like, do I really need to care, or can I just pretend like I care? You not only need to care, you need to communicate that you care. And that's where some of you may not be great at communicating that. People want to know that you care about them. And you have to stop thinking of them as millennials or boomers or Gen X or compartmentalizing or giving them whatever label you want to give them. You need to start thinking of them as individuals and understand that every single one of them has a different lens in how they see the world. And you don't have to like their lens. You don't have to agree with their lens, but you have to respect their lens. Okay? Because everybody comes from a different upbringing, different background. And so the more that you can learn about yourself and you can learn about others, so if any of you have access to assessments that you can take, and we talked about this in the women's program this morning, you need to learn about who you are, your biases, your blind spots, your strengths, your preferences, your communication styles. And then once you know that, you need to learn that about all of your people. And then you need to adjust and meet somewhere in the middle. Because you don't ever want to assume anything. Because if you assume that someone's older, they don't know how to use technology, or the young people are like IT support, you don't want to do that. You're compartmentalizing. And so to get to know your people, you have to be approachable and available. And again, this is where my older folks are struggling with this. You're so stressed, you're so overworked, you're doing a job of 3 people, you're balancing all this stuff. And so I was like, okay, we need to schedule care time on your calendar. And they're like, really? I said, no, you do. And it has to be daily, self-care and the care of others, and you have to be approachable and available so these young people can learn from you. And focus on the similarities. Think about that exercise we did. Go back to your offices. Music is a great thing to bring people together. So maybe on Fridays, wear your favorite concert t-shirt day, right? Mine's going to be the Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Faith No More concert. My U2 concert, Backstreet Boys? Yeah, sweet. So focus on the similarities, not the differences. Okay, who is this? Okay, you make me feel so much better because my college students are like, Karate Kid? That's the movie with Will Smith's son. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so real quick, 80s references, name the movie. This is our time. This is our time down here. Don't feed him after midnight. Ludicrous Speed. Spaceballs. Yes. Something about, I'll just say Goose. Yeah, okay. I feel like I need to teach a class of nothing but all of the fun 80s movies that my college students have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, this right here is you need to be someone's Mr. Miyagi. Okay? If you take the experience and the work ethic and the resiliency of the older generations and you take them with the ambition and the innovation and the creativity of the younger generation and you put them together, your organizations are freaking amazing. But you have to be Mr. Miyagi, right? Because Daniel's son was super annoying, right? He was always in his face and he was breaking his bonsai and he was doing all this stuff. And what did Mr. Miyagi do? He was emotionally mature. And he was calm, wax on, wax off, and he helped him be better. Somebody mentored you at some point, so now it's your job to lean in and mentor them. So rather than do this, lean in instead. Okay, so in closing, my last slide here is this whole 45-minute thing you sat through today was a diversity training, because that's what this is. Recognizing and understanding that everybody has something to bring to the table and they all have a different lens, and to stop compartmentalizing. help them grow professionally and emotionally so they get to that maturity level that you need them to be to bring your organization into the future and to be successful into the future. So that's all I got. Here's my contact information. If you have any questions, Terry does have a handout. We didn't tell you that on the front end. That she's going to email to all of you that has everything that was in my slides, so don't worry if you missed something. And if you have any questions, anything you want, reach out to me. And if you want, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I curate a lot of articles about this topic and my other topics. You know that they come from reliable resources, and I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. So thank you for having me. I'm 1 minute over. Not bad.
Caitlin Boyd is the Executive Director of the Walton County Christian Learning Center, so we're glad she was able to come today. She came to me. I'm on City Council in Good Hope, and our mayor is president of your...
Yeah, he's the president of our board.
So he asked if we had any opportunities, and I said we absolutely do. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for
I'll
having
let
me.
you tell us all about it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me this afternoon. I'm very glad to be with you guys. Lunch was excellent, so thank you. That was a treat. I told Mr. Prather on the phone that I have 3 little ones that I'm cooking for all the time. So if I get something that I don't have to cook, it's an extra special treat. So thank you guys for having me. I am really excited. One of my favorite things to do is to talk about our organization. The Walton County Christian Learning Center, a lot of people actually don't know what it is or does, but we've been in existence for over 25 years now. And so just kind of a little bit of backstory before I tell you what we do. We had a group of just community members who wanted to see students have the opportunity to be equipped in their faith or in a journey of faith during the school day as part of an elective course. And so they got together and started praying and planning in 1999-2000. And the Walton County Christian Learning Center was born and approved by the Walton County School District Board of Education in 2001. And so that was actually, this is how old I am, but 2001, 2002 was my senior year in high school. And so I actually have a rare and unique privilege of being able to talk about the CLC program from the perspective of both, multiple positions. So I was a student in that first class. When I graduated from college, I came back and started teaching at the Loganville High School CLC. Then I assisted our founding director, Ms. Terry Butcher, for several years after I had my kiddos and came out of the classroom. And then when she retired 5 years ago, I was able to take over as executive director. And so I say all that to say just that the story of CLC is really ingrained deeply in my heart and my life in multiple seasons of life. Not many people know this, but my husband, who is a pastor down in Social Circle, he and I actually met for the first time in our CLC class, my senior year of high school. So he thought I was obnoxious then, and that was true. But we both actually worked for CLC when we graduated from college. And so I say a lot that the Christian Learning Center is woven all through my story. And so I'm grateful to get to be a part of it still today. And so if you're unaware kind of what CLC is, I gave you some things to look at, but here's some of our kiddos. This is the reason we do what we do, and so I love the opportunity to share with organizations that have the same heartbeat to see kids grow and flourish and thrive and become all that they are meant to be. And so these are some of our kiddos. We teach. I was here actually this morning at our Loganville High School Center meeting with our teacher and teaching some of them before I came this way today. We have classes all over the county, and we serve 5th through 12th grade. So we have 5th through 12th grade students from the Walton County School District that are released for a time. We're known as what's called a release time Bible education program, which means that our students are released from the public school for a period of time during the day in order to come to us to have a Bible class as one of their elective classes. And so the only thing really that's required is parental consent, and we don't receive any state or local funding of any kind. So the Supreme Court actually upheld in 1959 the ability for parents to be able to direct the kind of spiritual growth of their children and the protection for release time programs like ours. And so we don't receive any funding from the state or local government, no school system funding. We're a completely separate organization, and we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So We have our 501c3, but we're also accredited in the state of Georgia as a private special purpose school. So I function as the head of school. My assistant director functions as our facilities maintenance and kind of school liaison, and so we function as a small private school. However, our enrollment will be this year over 1,200 students. So so lots of people don't know. Yeah, it's very exciting. So that's over 10% of the Walton County School District student body chooses to come to us for elective classes between 5th and 12th grade. Yes.
Where's the outdoor classroom?
Okay, so this is at Loganville High School. This is the inside of the classroom. This is outdoor. We actually had it was my parents' Sunday school class actually did that project for us when I was teaching there. But you can see, let's see, these are high school classes. These are some of our middle schoolers at Carver Middle School. This is our Loganville Middle School facility, and then this is our Walnut Grove High School facility. You'll see some other pictures. We have a facility at Monroe Area High School. So we serve all of the elementary, middle, and high schools in the Walton County School District. And so just kind of this idea, again, we're accredited, we're a nonprofit Christian school, and so essentially it's a hybrid. I say that word a lot when I'm telling people what we do, because we function as both a nonprofit and a private school, but we're tuition free. And so most places you have to pay a pretty good little penny to have a private Christian education, but we're offering that kind of education once a day for our public school students in Walton County, which is really exciting. It's a very unique program that not a lot of counties have, but our founding director, Ms. Terry Butcher, and her husband Butch have been instrumental in taking what we do here to other counties in Georgia. So the numbers of Christian learning centers around the state is growing, and so that's exciting. But just so you can see here, our mission is that we want to equip students to grow in their faith through Christian education and biblical community. And so one of the things that we have found when surveying all of our stakeholders, so students, teachers and admin at our public school, host schools is what we call them, parents, staff, everybody came back and said, hey, the things that we do really well that are central to who we are is that we give them Christian education and we show them what biblical community should look like. And Jenny and I were just talking at lunch, we've just seen some drastic changes in social emotional learning in our students post-COVID. And so just providing them a safe place to just investigate faith on their own has been something that, especially post-COVID, a lot of our students have really needed and have not had another place that they've been connected to. We find that the overwhelming majority of our students who come into our classes are not churched, meaning they do not have a church home that they would call their own, and so they're not connected in a larger community of faith. And so we're getting them to connect with us day to day. And we did some research. It's been interesting. If you think about a student who goes to a local church once a week, that's rare with a lot of our students, but once a week, I mean, that's what, 52 hours in a year. But with us, we have them 75 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on the school level, daily for 5 days a week. And so we're astronomically multiplying the amount of time that they're having in a safe environment to investigate faith, to learn what the Bible says, to make their own decisions about what that means and looks like, and then to have people who love them and care about them pouring into them. So we're hoping to be partners with organizations like this, but also with local churches and mission organizations, service organizations, just to give our students, the teachers and I talk about it a lot, to give our students multiple mature, godly voices to speak into their lives. So we want them to hear from people a little bit further down the road than them, a little bit more life experience, to speak into them and teach them the way of Jesus. And so those are the avenues we do that through Christian education and then modeling authentic community. And so our vision, what we want to see as a result of that then, is that we want to enable and empower public school students in Walton County to grow in a variety of ways. My hope always when I speak to groups like this is that you don't hear just one aspect of what we do. So we want to teach and care for the whole student, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and academically. And so we want them I mean, of course, we believe that Jesus came and died for everybody and that he offers life and hope. And so we want to see them come to know Jesus. But we get students, we get students from all faiths, all walks of life, all kind of faith backgrounds. And our goal is to provide a safe and loving environment for them to either begin a journey of faith or take the next step in their journey of faith with somebody who can love and speak into their lives. And so I get kind of this idea. A lot of times people say, oh, well, that's for like, church kids or, youth group kids. And that's by and large not the students that we have coming in droves to our classes. We have students who desperately want a loving, safe place to be in. To investigate some of those questions that we all have about life. Where did I come from? Why am I here? What am I doing? Who is for me? All of those things. And so our hope is that we are serving them on all of these levels. And so this is something we implemented as part of our accreditation process in the last several years, just these core values. We were surveying our stakeholders, and they could say, well, we know that CLC teaches the Bible, but they couldn't articulate our mission and vision as well as we wanted them to. And so these core values came out of that kind of feedback. Just these are things that we teach our kids in every class that they take with us. Here at CLC, these are the things that are important. And so the gospel is central. We want to come back to the story of fallen humanity and of a need for Jesus, and of how we walk out faith in a way that is loving and kind toward everyone, and in a way that preserves truth and shares that with other people. But also that community is vital. We say a lot that you can't do life alone. And that's something I was even talking with our Loganville High School kids today, just reminding them that as part of the Christian faith, that we belong to each other. And so especially in our community, we want to be part of a community that is it's vital in what we're doing. And so community is vital. Excellence is the standard, so we want to do things with excellence. If we're going to put the name of Jesus on them, then we want to do that as well as we possibly can. And so that excellence is the standard at CLC, that compassion is the practice, that compassion is the way of Jesus, and that loving people well is important in the way that we treat each other, and then that eternity is the prize. So we're always looking forward to eternity. And so those are kind of our core values, but there's kind of the graphic that we share with our kiddos. So those things are interconnected for us, just teaching them what it looks like to, when they come to your seasons of life, what they're contributing to their families and their communities, and the global kind of scene as well. And so there are some, I will not read all these, and I know they're very small, but just some student impact stories, because it really, if we're not accomplishing our mission, then something's got to change. And so we just have a couple of really cool stories that we've gotten from some students, just all their views being altered, just perspective shifts and changes, making prayer more of a rhythm in their lives, helping address worry and anxiety, just learning how to study God's Word, how to read it for what it is. There's other things that are, less faith specific and more character specific, just learning how to be less aggressive and be more concerned with other people. And then coming to personal faith in Jesus as well. And so we're really grateful for the way that the Lord is working. This number now is higher than when I created this presentation, which is exciting. We had a little over 650 total students. I think the number is 652 for the fall semester. So we're beginning our second semester now in January, and we are looking to double that number. So again, over 1,200 students this year. 70 is the new total of students who are coming without any prior knowledge of Jesus or faith background, and placing their faith in Jesus as part of what they've learned with us. And so each student that comes to us gets a brand new Bible, and so we distribute roughly 500 Bibles a school year, depending on students. We actually had one of the students that I was talking to today at LHS had come in, I guess last week, and just asked his teacher, like, do you have like a couple hundred Bibles or something? She was like, what? Maybe. And he was just like, can I get some Bibles that I can just give to people? at school? She was like, yeah, we can 100% do that. So we're seeing, especially in the young men that are coming up in high school right now, a hunger for something beyond themselves and looking to step into not only leadership, but they're passionate about what it looks like to follow Jesus, and they're giving that away to other people. And so I'm giving lots of Bibles away, even to students that are not in our classes, which is really exciting to see. And so there are, some of the classes, there's one of our high school groups, and we kind of, just to give you a broad spectrum, we're teaching through the full narrative of Scripture right now. So poetry, prophecy, law, history, gospels and history, and then the letters and prophecy through Scripture, just giving our students kind of a full picture of what the Bible says and how we read it. And then in middle school, we have kind of a 3-year program where they learn how to kind of put feet to their faith. And then our elementary school babies, look how cute they are. They're precious, and we have an incredible elementary staff that is kind of introducing CLC. So we have an elementary program that only meets once a week. Our middle and high schoolers meet daily, but our elementary school meets just once a week for a quarter in a club format, just so that our 5th graders kind of get the opportunity to understand some of the basics, and then decide if they want to keep pursuing a faith with us. And so again, some really cool stories, just that students have met the Lord in meaningful ways in our classrooms, and it's been a really kind of beautiful thing, finding peace, understanding what true love looks like, and just meeting some needs. We're seeing a lot, especially post-COVID, a lot of mental health crises in our students, and so we love being some of the people on their team, to be able to work with medical professionals, with their counseling staff at school, in order to, again, reach the whole student. And so we're grateful for that opportunity. And so again, just some of the really cool things we're hearing from students about what they're learning, what the Lord is doing. And so again, even in like learning what fellowship means, like how do we get in the same room with somebody that looks different than me and believes differently than me and treat them like a human being. I was just telling our Loganville high schoolers today that like, if we love Jesus, then like that is the bedrock of how we treat other people. And so just talking to them about, like, you ought to be able to sit at a table and hear from somebody that doesn't believe the same as you and treat them with honor and respect and love. You don't see that modeled probably very well, just in general, but like that, like Jesus calls us to something higher than that. And so that's been really cool, just to point out to students how kindness and love pervades the way that we walk. And so we've also seen students engaging their families in some really beautiful ways, and that has been something that has been encouraging to see, that we're working on trying to really cultivate. And just giving, again, our teachers are paid drastically less than most teachers I know, and teachers aren't paid a whole lot anyway, but they're doing, honestly, mission work in our community, in right here in Walton County, and providing safe places for students to come and be seen and cared for. And so this like my teacher, it helped a lot, meant to know that somebody cares. And so again, just providing that safe place. And so there are ways to be involved, of course, but I'm gonna leave that one there. It's my favorite. And so I pass out some things, but just as one of the many incredible 501c3 nonprofits in our county, we're really kind of looking for, if you see on that like how to give card, we're really looking to expand our revenue streams, and so our donor base. And I'll say that is because I think this is my 5th year now as the executive director, and so I've learned a little bit as I've gone. But I think that there's a delicate balance between letting people know what we do and also preserving constitutionality of our organization and being respectful of and honoring to the separation between church and state with our school system. We have an incredible school system. I will never say anything but glowing things about the Walton County School District. They're incredibly kind and generous and collaborative to work with, and so welcoming of our organization. And so we want to be really careful to respect the separation so that we can both keep doing what we do and serve the same kids. And so that said, we primarily have our donor base primarily is churches and small groups and then individual families. We really, I don't know what the special sauce is, you guys can tell me. We really don't have a huge business base. And so that is something I think as a nonprofit, tax deductible gift of course, but we're really looking at trying to see what's the best way to engage the business world. Businesses with ownership or leadership with like minds that would like to see money going to a charitable organization that's working here in Walton County. There's not a whole lot that we've really figured out about kickbacks, right? Like we want to honor a business's contribution and donation and investment, but we don't do a whole lot of events that, you know what I mean? Like events where we do have a worship night, a community worship night every semester. So we gather all of our CLC students, we worship together, we do that at a local church somewhere, and at those events we scroll our business partnerships on the screens, and those are always on our website. But anyway, we're just kind of figuring that out. So I'm always interested in meeting for coffee or just picking a Christian business person's brain about what the best way to partner that way would be. And so we do have several businesses that have come on board as one of our one of our partnership levels. Those are on the little white together page. And so just always interested in growing that kind of area, especially of our support. But we're also looking at, we get a lot of end of year type gifts, which are kind and very generous, but always looking toward moving to automate giving and to ask people to give regularly, monthly or annually. Because you can do the math, but there are two part-time administrators. That's myself and Chris, and then we have 10 teachers. This is for our 1,200 students. 2 administrators, 10 teachers, and only one of those teachers is part-time. All of the rest of them are full-time. We have about a $465,000 a year budget. So they are, and that is because, and I'll say they have gotten 2 raises since I've been with us, and that was the first time in about 20 years. So I can just, and I say all that just to say, the Lord is kind, and He has blessed us beyond measure. Just the fact that He sustained us for the last 25 years is, it's grace and kindness from the Lord. But I'm always looking toward, now that I'm not teaching, it's not my job to take care of students anymore, it's my job to take care of our staff. And so that they can take care of our kids. So that our kids' needs are being met and we're seeing them grow spiritually, emotionally, socially, and academically. And so that's my joy, is getting to, from now the top down, having gone from a student to a teacher to probably next year a parent of a student in CLC. It's really my honor to be able to represent an organization that I believe wholeheartedly in, because we're seeing life change in generations of kiddos. The teacher who came up and teaches now at LHS was one of my students, and did her student teaching with me when I was pregnant with my first little boy. And so we're seeing now the impact of generations coming back and saying, let me give back to the organization that has given to me. And so I'm really excited about the future. We have dreams and goals I'm thinking we're gonna have another cluster in the Walton County School District pretty soon, probably, with the amount of growth we're seeing in our communities. And so we're believing the Lord, but also doing some foundational work for fundraising in that vein. Just the idea that we're gonna have to staff probably another elementary, middle school, and high school cluster pretty soon. And so excited about what the Lord's been doing. We also, in the last 3 years, have expanded our middle school classes to just double the amount of seats that we have at each middle school. We feel like middle school is a critical time for us to get students. We want them in 5th grade, but like middle school's rough. For everybody, it's really hard. And so just getting them connected into our organization in middle school, we feel like is crucial. And so we've doubled our classes to be able to do that. And so lots of exciting work being done. We would covet more than anything just your prayers and your connections. So again, however we can partner with you guys. Jenny and I were having a conversation about just kind of the decrease in service kind of, not service organizations, but connection to service organizations. We're actually in the beginning stages of researching and piloting a senior capstone project for our CLC seniors that we want to be very service heavy, meaning we want to challenge them to put feet to what they're learning in their classroom in order to give back to the community in ways that the community has given to them. And so any sort of partnership or just insight into us in that vein, because y'all are such incredible servants through the community, would be wonderful. We want to produce students who are serving like Jesus serves us. And so any insight you guys would have on that would be great. And any questions you have, I know y'all need to go. I could talk about CLC forever. So
the way that people get into the CLC program is, do their advisors put them in it, or do they have to ask for the elective?
They have to ask for it, yeah. So because we want to honor the separation of church and state. So there are several ways. We have a registration form through our website, so it's wcclc.org, and any prospective student or parent can go there. It should be on most of the things
how
I've
do
given
the
you.
kids, the students, middle school, or how do they know it's available? If the advisors are not telling them.
Sure, yeah.
How do they know because it's not on campus?
No, it's not.
It has to be off campus.
Right.
I asked Nicholas about, Nicholas, have you ever been to CLC?
Yeah.
And he said, no, it's never come up as one of my electives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know that he even knows that you have
So that's a great, yeah, we do have,
listen to that.
we do have presence at open houses at pre-registration.
To what?
And I will say, something we're working on with the county right now is just equity as far as registration opportunities, because by and large it's different school to school, depending on how the administration and the scheduling counselors operate. And so we have our website that people can go to and register, and then we get with the schools. A lot of it is word of mouth, by students, but a lot of it is our teachers pounding the pavement, like going to lunches and those kinds of things.
What percentage of the kids who do get it as an elective have never been to church before? Do you know that percentage?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Is it?
I won't pull that up, but
70%, 70%?
This year it varies by cluster. So we're in the beginning, since I've come into this position, stages of tracking data, community specific, right? So Monroe, Walnut Grove, and Loganville. Walnut Grove, this is so interesting. Walnut Grove historically has been our most churched community or cluster. That is not true this year for whatever reason. So we have 72% of our students in the Walnut Grove cluster don't have any sort of background in organized type faith. Loganville is a little bit less, it's 42% this year. And then in Monroe, it is drastically higher. So it's closer to 80% of our students in the Monroe cluster are, that are, I mean, you know, based on their own.
A lot of times, the reason I'm Baptist is my mom and dad are Baptist, and my grandparents.
Sure.
The reason
Sure.
I'm Christian is my
That's no
parents.
longer
So
really a thing.
we realize it's not that way. I always thought everybody grew up middle class too. I realized later in life they didn't.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it's an eye opener to see that many people
We're-
are not church.
We're seeing our students, our student body now primarily, we would call them post-churched, meaning not unchurched, but they're post-churched. Either they were connected to a church prior to COVID and are not now,
Well, we
or
told
they
them to go to church during COVID.
or they were connected to a church, experienced deep hurt, and then didn't come back.
Yeah, I get it.
So, yeah.
So I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. So again, if we can reach them before they graduate high school,
Yeah.
we have a much better chance
Yes.
of them ever hearing about
Yes,
it again.
the Barna statistics show that 97.5% of people who profess faith in Jesus do so before their 18th birthday. So that's a staggering statistic.
97%.
That is amazing.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I'd love, if you have any further questions, I'd love to answer them if I can, or leave you with some of this info. And
Well, thank you
thank
for coming.
you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, I'm Isaac with Reboot Computer Company, giving you a little reboot tech tip today. Just wanted to talk about the Windows 10 end of life and the Windows 11 upgrade. So Windows 10, it actually went out of service, I believe 2 days ago. And so what that really means is they're not going to send out any more security updates for it, no more regular updates, and that's what they say. Typically, they will still go out for a while. I think in the past, they might have sent out updates for another 6-8 months, or I want to say Windows 7 they even did for another year maybe, or it might have been a year and a half. But so anyway, right now I would say you're probably okay, but eventually you're going to have to get another computer or upgrade your computer to Windows 11. What that means is on the computer that you already have, typically you would have already received Windows 11 because they just gave it out for free. Now if you didn't get it, there's probably an issue as to why. So this time when they made the Windows 11, they made the hardware inside the computer advance drastically to accept Windows 11. So basically a lot of Windows 10 computers could not take Windows 11. I mean a lot. I think it was something crazy like half or something like that. And so a lot of people, you either got to get a new computer or you can get a refurbished computer. Like with us, we sell new and used. You come here, we can help you out. Or if you're not sure if your computer can take Windows 11, we can log in and take a look, or if you want to bring it here, we can take a look. There's a lot of requirements that have to be met. The biggest thing is it has to be a certain age, because the processor or the engine inside the computer has got to be a certain processor or engine for Windows 11 to function correctly. We're not exactly sure why they made such a big jump in technology this time. Typically it's not like that, like I said. We think maybe it has something to do with all the AI stuff, artificial intelligence stuff, using more processor power, more resources, stuff like that, but we're not 100% sure. As far as I know, that was never told. But anyway, yeah, so if you got issues with your computer with the upgrade, let us know. We'd be happy to help you. Again, Isaac at Reboot. We have moved down the road, 121 South Broad, Monroe, Georgia, and we also have a location in Athens. But yeah, just giving you the Reboot tech tip. Thanks.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
There's just something about music that stirs the soul, makes us crank it, let go and come alive. This is what makes life, right? Yet what if too much of a good thing today could make us miss out on life tomorrow? 1 in 5 American teenagers now has some type of hearing loss. Loud noise is the most common cause. And these days, we're plugged in louder and longer than ever. Let's hear for life. Turn the volume down.
Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.